Right then. Well, here's part 3 of my bloody rant to do with bloody religion and science. Clearly, the message isn't sinking into some of you people because you seem content to throw abusive comments at me for having an opinion. So maybe this time the message will actually sink into your ignorant mind. If you truly believe, then you wouldn't be having a go to begin with. Regardless of whether you're religious or a scientist, it matters not. If you were a true scientist, then example. Prime example, the guy, I can't remember his name, but the guy who injected himself with smallpox to prove that he created the cure, that to me is a true scientist, The guy put nobody else at risk other than himself to prove that he created the cure. That is a real scientist, not somebody who's just out for glory, make a name for themselves so they'll go down in history and be forever remembered. That's not a scientist, that's a bloody power-hungry maniac. And the same goes for you religious people. Christianity is a prime example. Now, one of my best and closest friends, who's very dear to me and I have the utmost respect for, is a Christian. And we've had many discussions before now on the subject of religion, his religion and religion in general. And he's the first one to admit that there's a lot of people who claim to be believers in his faith that give people like him, true believers, a bad name because they're so busy using their faith as a reason to cause grief for everyone else. You're a heathen because you don't believe attitude. Well, you don't even believe yourself, otherwise you wouldn't be judging, because your Bible says only God reserves the right to judge. Who are you to question his divine plan? You want to play bloody God? Take away his right to bloody judge by judging everyone else for not believing the same as you? You would understand and you would be of the same mind that my friend is. God made made everybody the way they are for a reason. Who are you to question that reason? You don't know that reason, so who are you to turn around and say that somebody's bloody wrong for having a different opinion? You can't. All you're doing is proving that you don't even believe yourself, so you have no right to bloody turn around and say anything to anyone. Because at the end of the day, true believers would be of the mind of, well, faith is something that you must seek for yourselves. If you don't come to this conclusion on your own, then there's nothing anyone else can do for you. You can't judge these people. You can't judge them. You've got no right. If you can't look at yourself, then you can't look at anyone else. There's a difference between looking and seeing, my friend, and clearly you don't see at all. And you don't believe, you don't see, you're just ignorant and you're a fool. At the end of the day, the basis of both religion and science come from the same core. Wisdom is the basis of religion, knowledge is the basis of science. Together they equal intelligence. How can you not see this? Are you really that ignorant that you're not willing to see that you can't have religion without science and you can't have science without religion? Because science is intent on finding a different explanation other than the one that religion provides, hence the drive. Hence the drive to seek out more and more answers, even though there are no answers in science, only continuous line of questions. Then the same goes for religion. We're all created by God. We're all created by God. No, we've evolved from monkeys. Yeah, God created the monkeys that you evolved from. There you go. There's your compromise. Now stop arguing. If you truly believed what it was that you were saying, then you wouldn't be criticizing anyone else for having a different opinion. You would respect the fact that everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And my opinion is simple. My opinion is that I'm not going to restrict myself to any one faith. I believe that there's something. I really do. I'd be a fool to bloody think for a second. At the end of the day, nature is nature. Everything needs a parent. Everything. Absolutely everything. You can't give birth to a bloody child without first having a bloody parent to give birth to it. So what gave birth to the universe if there was nothing before the Big Bang? What made those atoms, what set those atoms in motion to make them collide? Was it the death of something or the birth of something? I don't know. I'm not ignorant enough to fucking think that I can bloody turn around and give the explanation. I have no explanation and I don't want one. I don't need one. And if you truly believed it all, you wouldn't need one either. And it's like, another comment that I'd seen on another video the other day, listening to one of my favourite bands, Evanescence. Love them, I think they're amazing, but yet another bloody religious person, Evanescence is the devil's music. No, it's bloody not at all. It's not the devil's music. It's just music for people who are blooming lost and confused. They've had such blooming tragic blooming lives that they're expressing themselves in maybe in a negative bloody way, but it's expression nonetheless. It's how they feel. What have you got? What right have you got to turn around and call it the devil's music just for blooming turning around and people turning around and admitting that they're lost? You know? Life has broken us. We're admitting we're broken. We're trying to find the bloody pieces to put ourselves back together. Who are you? Who are you to judge us for listening to bloody music like that? You know. At the end of the bloody day, religion turns around and says that, oh, God is in everything. God is in everyone, regardless of whether you're a Buddhist, a Christian, a blooming Catholic, a Muslim. It doesn't bloody matter. At the basis of every religion is the same core. You know, and 99.9% of them say the same thing. Well, respect each other, be nice to each other, you know, stop being an idiot. And yet, how many of you actually truly see it? You know, a good portion of every single religious sect don't really believe what it is that they're preaching, because otherwise they wouldn't go out of their way to cause problems for each other. You know, the religious people bitch at each other. Muslims bitch with the Christians, Christians with the blooming Muslims. The Buddhists just turn around and go, oh, I just love you all. You know? Who are you to turn around and judge other people just for having a different point of view? Because that's all the religions are at the end of the day. Every single religion has the same core, just from a different point of view. You know, who are you to say that that point of view is wrong? You know, nobody has the right to turn around and say that, oh, I'm right, you're wrong, period. At the end of the day, everybody's both right and wrong at the same time, because life is full of contradictions. That's what life is, chaos incarnate. Life is a contradiction. You know, so who are you to say that you're right and wrong? Everybody is both right and wrong, depending on the point of view that you choose to take. And the sooner you can see this for yourselves and accept it, then you can truly turn around and say that you are a real scientist or a real believer in God. You know, who the hell are you to criticize me for being able to see something that you're clearly blinded to?